Namaste, beautiful yogis, and welcome to Rhythm of Yoga. My name is Hannah, and I will be guiding you through this practice today. So for today's practice, we just have a nice quick practice to loosen up those hamstrings. So if you're somebody who suffers from tight hamstrings or maybe even a tight low back, this is a great practice for you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started just by loosening up those muscles and getting that warmth into the body. So let's come to the top of our mat here and let's take the feet out about hip width distance apart. Awesome. Inhale as you sweep the arms up and overhead and bring the gaze toward the fingertips. Just feeling yourself kind of root down into the earth here and maybe reach up and out as you strengthen in the belly. Feel that beautiful breath present in the body. As you exhale, let's go ahead and sweep down toward the earth and take a nice deep forward fold. So let's start here by bringing some warmth into the hamstrings. We're going to take hands to the shins and inhale, extend out through the length of the spine. Beautiful. As you exhale, go ahead and fold nice and deep. We use full breaths here, finding our complete depth each time. We'll continue with this movement. Inhale to a half lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale and fold nice and deep. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, lengthen out, start to feel that nice warmth that happens in the hamstrings. Start to notice the loosening of the muscles. Exhale completely. Inhale, find that full length, really bring the warmth back there. Exhale, completely fold. One more time, inhale, lengthen out through the spine. And exhale, fold all the way. Let's go ahead and grab to the elbows here and then allow ourselves to hang heavy in our ragdoll pose. So keeping those hands kind of wrapped around at the elbows and the crown of your head weighs toward the floor. You can start to sway gently from side to side and begin to notice as you sway to the left, a little bigger stretch in the left hamstring. Over toward the right, that stretch moves into the right hamstring. So just continue to move from side to side, just noticing that warmth and that lengthening that's going on here, just continuing to happen through each of our little stretches here. Every little bit counts here, right? Take those nice deep breaths. Every exhale weighs the head a little bit heavier toward the earth, stretches those hamstrings out a little bit deeper. We're being gentle, we're being kind, we're allowing gravity here to take over. And let's take that couple more breaths. You got it. Beautiful. Come back to center, release your hands down to the earth. Inhale to a half lift, flat back as you lengthen out through the spine. Start to feel and notice that stimulation that's happening in the hamstrings and really all the way down through the backs of the legs here. Even a relief in the glutes and the low back. Beautiful. As you exhale, take your hands to the hip creases and inhale, slowly rise all the way up to your standing position. Beautiful. From here, let's go ahead and just heel toe those feet a little bit closer together, and then we'll step the right foot back, taking a nice wide stance here. So you can take those feet out nice and wide and then start to point the toes slightly inward. So we want the knife edges of our feet to line up parallel to the short sides of our mat. So for most of us, that looks like toes in. So just check that alignment, find your space. Inhale. And as you exhale, hands at the hips, you can start to hinge forward and slowly lower down. So very similar stretch, beautiful. Coming all the way down and nice and slow, releasing the crown of your head toward the earth. Feel that nice deep stretch in the back of the legs here. And here, we want to find center weight. So notice here how the toes are lifting up. And not just the toes, but the pads of my feet are lifting up off of the floor. And this is because I'm bringing weight to the backs of the heels. And this is a very typical thing that happens when we come into this position. So we want really to activate those hamstrings by pressing evenly into all parts of our feet. So try and drop the ball of your foot down. Feel that nice solid foundation through the four corners of your feet, and then really give yourself that nice deep hang. So we're really activating in the hamstrings as we lower the crown of the head and keep that solid foundation in both feet, nice and even here. So your hands can be right underneath your heart. If the crown of the head is all the way down on the earth, you can start to even reach your hands further behind you, deepening in your stretch. You might be here, your head might be lifted up off of the floor, and that's okay. You might be up in your half lift, really feeling that intensity. Wherever it is that you feel your stretch, as long as you feel it, it's happening. You're doing something good for yourself. You're creating that space and that change. So let's stick with it for a couple more breaths here. Find that depth and enjoy it. Two more. And last one. Beautiful job. Let's press back up into the palms. Heel to those feet in. So heel, toe in. Heel in, toe in. Heel in, toe in. Beautiful. Go ahead and bend down as you start to lower all the way down and onto your bottom here. Wonderful. So we're going to come into a nice seated forward fold. And here, if you know that grabbing to the toes is not an option for you, then you can always grab your strap or your belts or a scarf, whatever you've got here to wrap around the bottoms of your feet, and then walk the hands in as close toward the feet as you can. If you have that reach to the toes, then go ahead and grab to the toes. Let's think about sliding the heels forward on the mat, toes drawing back toward the face. So there's kind of this circular energy lengthening from the hips out through the heels, up through the toes, and into the heart. And then noticing the heart space here stays nice and open. So we're keeping a long spine from the hips out through the crown. The gaze is at the toes here, and you can also imagine that you have a flashlight in the center of your heart, and that stays pointed at the toes. So keep the feet flexed, reach for the toes or as close as you can on that strap, and start to lengthen out here. So we can imagine the crown of your head growing kind of like a vine toward the toes. So imagine your crown is a vine and your toes are the sunlight. And so we're really reaching into that sunlight with the crown of our head. Think about drawing the belly in. Sometimes it even helps to just kind of grab and give yourself that extra space to fold a little deeper. If your hands are really on those feet, then you can start to draw the elbows out to the sides of the body and begin to lower down a little bit deeper toward the earth. Take your time here. Remember, we're growing long with the inhales, so each inhale gives us that length. Soft space in both sides of the neck here. And lower. Let's take 4 more big breaths. Those nice long holds give us that really good effective stretch. 2 more. Last one. Awesome. Gently roll back up and into your seated position. Let's go ahead and bend in the knees and just release some of that intensity from the body. So knees are bent, take your hands down to the earth, and let's start to rock those knees from side to side. And I will say, after all that hamstring and that glute stuff, it is pretty intense to kind of massage out the glutes here, the hips here. It can be pretty intense. I can say from experience, for a second, it hurts, and then it starts to feel good. So it's kind of like a heavy, tight muscle, and then it starts to loosen up with that little massage from side to side. So let's massage from side to side until it starts to feel loose and comfortable. Remembering that when we stretch, we're really taking the same effect as when we contract a muscle. When we work out, when we're lifting our weights, it's that same effect on the muscle. There are those little micro tears that continue to heal, giving us that length. So we're using that same ability. So you might end up a little bit sore from those long stretches, but understanding that this is normal for the body and that it's just causing change. Beautiful. So let's take 1 more from side to side. Come back to your center and we'll rise up into our seated position. Let's bring hands to heart center. take a moment here to be thankful for the body, for the ability to move the body, for all the wonderful poses that we are able to use in our yoga practice to do all these wonderful things for our bodies, and that wonderful breath that is constantly present, giving us life and giving us space. I would like to thank you all so very much for being here and sharing this practice with me today. As always, it is truly a blessing and a wonderful honor. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and always look forward to seeing you again. Namaste. Thank you very much for being here. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you would like to see more from me, then please subscribe. I hope to see you again. Namaste.